What if I told you some of the best Toronto condo buildings across the city, especially in North York, are in a hidden corner at the Yonge Sheppard intersection? That's right, some of the best buildings that I've discussed in the past in my best Toronto condo buildings video reside in the southeastern corner of Yonge and Sheppard. And it's not just that this is a hidden subsection of the Yonge and Sheppard intersection in the southeastern corner, because when you talk Yonge and Sheppard, people think of those green towers, or people think about the Ultimo towers. They think about things on Yonge, on Doris, on Beecroft, and that's not necessarily wrong. There's a lot to talk about with those buildings but this southeastern corner of Yonge Sheppard has some of the best buildings, and I'll tell you this, it has some of the best builders who've done a lot of amazing work. If you've watched my channel for a long time, you know, for example, that I'm a huge fan of three builders, really, amongst other guys, of course, but Tridel, Menkes, and Minto. And Tridel, Menkes, and Minto have all done great work on the street. Now, to give you a little bit more of an example, for instance, we're talking about Anndale, we're talking about Bales, we're talking about Glendora, these streets off of the southeastern corner of Yonge Sheppard. Now, one of the buildings that I've discussed in the past is 17 Anndale Drive, not to be confused with 2 Anndale. We'll talk about 2 Anndale in a sec. 17 Anndale Drive is probably one of the best buildings. I know I'm going to keep saying that in this video, but 17 Anndale, built in 2012 by Menkes, has been selling around $1,070 per square foot. You know, all the reasons it's great, I've named before, but I'll go through it again, and it's going to apply to the other buildings we're going to discuss, not all of them, but a few, which is, you know, great community building, great build quality, great management, proper sized units, proper layouts, great amenities, great maintenance for the age, and you can't really do much better if you're looking for a quiet lifestyle while still being central in the city at the Yonge Sheppard intersection. Now, right next to 17 Anndale are the other Menkes buildings, 31 and 35 Bales Avenue, right, which are a bit older in age, for fantastic buildings, in my opinion, equally fantastic as well. They're a little bit cheaper. You know, I just recently purchased a unit in 31 Bales. We bought it for around $970 per square foot. The average sold price in that building in the last couple of transactions is around $990 per square foot. And the other building, 35 Bales, is around $960 per square foot. Definitely cheaper than 17 Anndale, but a lot of the things, good qualities I spoke about applies to this building as well. It's just the units might be a bit more outdated. The concierge and lobby area are as grand, as large as 17 Anndale, but a bit older. Still a fantastic option for most people. Now, as I said earlier, 17 Anndale is not to be confused with 2 Anndale. That happens commonly. 2 Anndale behind me and 5 Sheppard Avenue are the Hallmark centers, and there are 2 Tridel buildings right at the intersection of Yonge and Sheppard. Although I said the southeastern corner is a little bit more obscure, of course, those 2 buildings are probably the most well-known right at Yonge and Sheppard. And the thing about 2 Anndale is it's supposed to be a luxury building, and it is a luxury building. There's a lot of definitely high-priced units in that building. They've actually kind of sunk into Anndale recently, as that guy honks obnoxiously while I speak, because the maintenance per square foot in 2 Anndale has skyrocketed due to some issues with management and due to the fact that there are some shared P4, P3 levels with the commercial, like for instance, the grocery store and the Rexall. Values have kind of, you know, not plummeted, might be a bit, putting it a bit too strongly, but kind of gone down in 2 Anndale. And 2 Anndale and 5 Sheppard Avenue are really good buildings. Once again, they're Tridel. I mean, the worst Tridel building is better than, I would say, 70% of buildings out there. But I will not say they're on par with 17 Anndale and 31 and 35 Bales. Although those buildings are a bit older than these 2, I would say those are better on average. And then lastly, right directly in front of the Bales buildings, you have 33 Sheppard Avenue. Now, we've discussed the Bales and the Anndale building, which is Menkes. We discussed the 17 Anndale and 5 Sheppard building, which is Tridel. And then you have Minto coming in. Once again, one of the, you know, 3 of the best builders working out there. I mean, all that's missing on the street is Great Golf or another builder I really like. But, you know, this is a pretty decent building as well, 33 Sheppard. Now, it's the cheapest building in the last calendar year. It's been selling around $910 per square foot. And there's a reason. It's a lot more traversed and traffic building. It definitely does give off a hotel vibe in terms of how much people are coming and going. It needs more work than the others. But once again, I would probably have to say it's a pretty decent building. Not as good as the other ones I just listed. Maybe on par with 2 Anndale, not in terms of finishing quality or build quality. I would say 2 Anndale is better, but in terms of, I would say, management, it's probably on par with 2 Anndale. But you know, it's a pretty decent option. Out of all the buildings I've listed, I would recommend all of them to tenants, obviously. I would recommend maybe the most initial ones we discussed by Menkes to buyers more than the other ones. But this is probably, I would have to say, the cheapest in terms of buying, and then probably most tenant friendly in terms of, you know, how many tenants there are in that building. It has a much larger share of tenants in that building than the other buildings we've discussed so far. Anyways, that is it for today's video, a quick area analysis for the southeastern corner of Yonge and Sheppard. As always, if you find this video informative or enjoyable, feel free to subscribe, or you can get in touch with me. My link is in the bio with any buying or selling inquiries. I don't think many people know the condo market like I do, whether it's in North York, Midtown, Downtown, Toronto East, Toronto West, doesn't matter, York region. So feel free to get in touch with me with any buying or selling inquiries.